All right. Back in Dakota River Bend, talking about RPGs, specifically tabletop RPGs. Well, the role play that was living out in the Old West, or the New Old West, because I believe the year in Red Dead Redemption and Dakota River Bend is around 1899, which is pretty late for the Old West. Regardless, yeah. So today I thought I'd ramble on about DM, uh, the DM's story, as people often put it, or you know, the DM has created a story that they want to take the players on, and without trying to sound too uh, confrontational, uh, that's the wrong way to play D&D. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, and there's probably more nuance than simply no bad DM creating story to drag your players through. And you can see I used some straw manning, hyperbolic phrasing there of drag your players through, which is silly to say, but yeah, that's the big thing I'm going to talk about. I see a lot of posts on Reddit about either DMs uh, upset that their players are not following their. Once in a while, I'll use my mic. Sit back. That the players don't care about their story or that kind of thing. Well, if they don't care about your story, maybe it's boring. That's just the way that it goes. Your players might not be interested, which is why, as a DM, don't do a story. Do an outline. Do a little, you know, with a bullet point, a little nudging of information about an idea that you like, and then what would be the intro opening to the game for that bit that you like, and then do that. Run that in the game. Don't run a full story. Just run that little bit that's the start to the idea of the story that you'd like. If you come in with a full fleshed out beginning, middle, and end, well, that's it's not going to happen. It just won't. I mean, unless you're playing against, I don't know, people that you've dominated into your cult of self worship, right? Because let's face it, uh, players have their own minds. They're going to do their own thing. They're going to go run willy nilly all around the place, and they're going to ignore your plot points. They're going to ignore your hints that maybe this is the way to go. They're going to ignore everything, and uh, and then the thing that they do pick up on will be completely unrelated to your whatever main story that you've written. So don't write it. Don't write a story. Have a few plot points, have a few interesting things to get those plot points started, and if the players pick up on it, then you can start fleshing it out. If the players don't pick up on it, then you can either do another hint that maybe this is the way to go, or here's a big thing: pay attention to what your players are enjoying or not enjoying, and if they don't enjoy it, then choose something else. Make up a different plot point. Go to a different location. Have a random encounter that just forces the session into combat so that you can have the time between that session and the next one to think, where should we go from here? I need some more bullet points. Um, yeah, because, you know, that, that's what I see a lot. It seems like I've completely said everything that I need to say, other than hammering home that if you're a DM and you're coming to the game with a full story, you're in for some trouble. And if you do it and run into that trouble, and then to do it again, well, now you're not learning from your mistakes. And I guess the same thing could be said for players that have, you know, like players that have an idea for a backstory that goes somewhere. It's like they can see having a backstory, but you don't know whether, so you got all the players, you want vengeance on the guy that killed your, parents or whatever, or that took your throne, or, whatever. You want, it's a vengeance backstory that leads up to the start of the game where you haven't gotten that vengeance. Okay. So now you are now hedging the bet that the DM at some point will ignore the totality of the group and focus just on you. And if the DM can do that and still have the other players included and enjoying the time at the table, great. But if the other players don't give a crap about your vengeance story and don't want to go do your vengeance story, and they just your vengeance story is to the south, but everybody's always going north and west, you're not going to get any resolution to your vengeance story in that campaign. And for most players I know, that's kind of okay. Like if you get to it, that's awesome. If there's a way to make it work, that's awesome. If there's a way to make it so that it's fun for everybody in the group, great. But if you don't get to it, not a big deal. And that's the other thing too. A lot of times, players don't realize that, yeah, you can have this vengeance story all planned out, but the DM can insert anything along the way. Oh, it turns out that the guy that you thought killed your thing and that you had written in your backstory is the guy that killed your thing was actually somebody in disguise, and it's not that guy that you think it was a different person, and now you gotta go find, like, yeah. The problem with all of these anecdotes from the internet posts and stuff is there's an expectation of things to go a very specific way after game starts, and that's not what happens in the game. Here comes a loud sound of me blowing air so my computer doesn't overheat. So air duster in 3, 2, 1. Really shouldn't have done that while off my horse. Wolves are a problem, and when you're on a horse that you have fully trained, I have found that they rarely, yeah, right there. I hate to kill puppies. Get them? Yes. I don't hear any more. That's always scary, because usually they go in packs. And I only get. Oh, there's the other one. I hear it. There he is. Ooh, two. Okay, 3 is usually a good number. Anyway, so yeah, the game's just not going to go the way you think it's going to go, because, the game uses chance. At least, for D&D and stuff. I don't play very many, if ever. I don't know if I've ever played a narrative-focused game, right? Like, not my. I can't even say it's not my bag. All I can say is that I've never. Nobody's ever run one that I remember. Sorry if you did, and I blocked it, and yeah, like I don't, like that's something I sincerely don't understand. Uh, if a narrative game, like to what extreme is it narrative? Like is it minimalist? You've got 3 stats, like twerps. Twerps, I guess, would be a narrative game because it's got 1 stat for your character. For those of you who don't know, twerps is an acronym. An acronym when you say it out loud. Twerps, the world's easiest role-playing system. Twerps. And it's got 1 stat, and it's called your strength, I believe. It's like a big tick. And that's cool. And, how good you are at things. And then, you can add layers. But, yeah, otherwise, you just kind of describe the stuff, which I never really understood. It's like, well, I don't know. I need some meat on my system to understand why it's a. Yeah. Give it a second. But yeah, so. Your game is your game, and you can play it however you want. But when it comes down to it, having expectations that things are going to go a specific way that you've written out or that you've, in your mind written out, it's not. And you're gonna end up having to bully people to get it to go the way that you quote unquote think it should. That's not what role-playing games do. I don't know. Sometimes we just don't stop. Usually there's people over here. Oh, did they get the safe open? Oh, whoever got this place got the safe open. That's neat. Because usually people don't get the safe open. But it looks like people have learned. And now I won't be able to come along after the bodies are dead and gone and open up the safe. Either that or they haven't spawned yet. And that's just the way it goes. Anyway. So, yeah. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? Because there's nobody here, And that's the other thing. It's like so these videos don't get posted to the main page, and so it's like does it even count as creating content? Is it helping the channel to do live stuff? Is it not helping the channel? I don't know any of this, but it definitely makes it so that I can discuss D&D things that I want to discuss without having to spend hours upon hours editing videos just to get them uploaded to have a remote way of, being pleasantly apparent, operant. I don't know. Coyote. So yeah, well, looks like I got to do another air duster or decide to quit. All right, we're gonna call it here for the live stream, just because we made it past 15 minutes, which is cool. Nobody showed up, which is cool. So it just lets me talk, which is fine. I have no idea if any of this is good to do, but such is the way of things. So I'm gonna end the stream. Have a lovely day. Uh, and yeah, don't come to the game with any expectations. Come to Dungeons and Dragons or any other role-playing game with some ideas that you'd like to make into plots, adventures. I hate to call them stories because story implies you already know the ending or that you're going to predetermine the ending. It's an adventure, and so just come with a few plot points, see what piques the player's interest, and then work from there. So yeah, thank you, and goodbye.